In the last few days, Kylie Minogue has dropped and she's did it again, another single, and it's called Did It Again. It came from a sixth studio album and it was called that album Impossible Princess. Now from that album I remember Breathe and the video to that, and it was so underrated at the time because people couldn't get over how Kylie was already progressing with her career, and they couldn't, in my view at the time, they just couldn't accept the edginess, and the little Australian pop actress princess disappeared. And in came Kylie with a new look, a new way about her. And I think in and around 1997, she was dating Michael Hutchinson too, of INXS. And all of that was going on, and Kylie just had this beautiful, edgy look to her, as you're going to see. And I'm making a very special thumbnail for this. And as you see in the video, this was Kylie. People loved the concept of the video because there was 4 Kylies in it. That's a dream for most people, I'm sure. But we go on to Did It Again was the song by the Australian recording artist, whom we all love, Kylie. And it originally featured on that 6th album, Impossible Princess, I mentioned. Now the song was released as the album's 2nd single through Mushroom, Deconstruction and BMG. Minogue had written the track with Steve Anderson and Dave Seaman, and I need to stop here a little minute because the amount of people that think Kylie Minogue has never written anything and it's all written for her. Truly, she's in control of her career. She knows what way she wants to look, sing, act, and what she wants to write. Yes, songs are brought forth to Kylie and they say, would you like to, I've written this song, would you like to cover it? And she's turned down 1 or 2 in the past she's regretted, but what she hasn't regretted is songs like this. And Did It Again in the last couple of days has been released, and I'm so excited because Minogue, in collaboration with Brothers in Rhythm and backed by guitars and drum, Did It Again became a pop rock track in which Minogue sings about her self-consciousness and self-hatred. Now, critical response to Did It Again was mostly positive. Critics praised the song at the time and the composition and highlighted it as a career standout track. In Australia, Did It Again peaked at number 15 on the Australian singles charts and was certified gold by the Australian record industry. In the United Kingdom, it peaked at 14 in the UK singles charts at the time, and Pedro Romani directed the song's music video, which features Minogue battling it out 4 separate personas designated by the media. Because at the time, when she came out with this is the point I'm trying to make, the media had an awful time trying to forget about the pop princess and cute little look and I should be so lucky in love. Was Kylie going to be lucky with the 6th studio album? Were they going to accept it? Because there was Cute Kylie, which is in the video, Dance Kylie. There was the Sex Kylie, because everybody relates sex to Kylie, how she looks, everything. We only have to think of the hot pants she wore, the spinning around that made her career come back. And Indie Kylie. You see, people didn't associate Kylie with indie music and they just couldn't accept it. Some of the stories I read at the time was so disparaging and so upsetting for me as a fan. Honestly, I felt for Kylie. I thought she was in this because she was being pulled at all quarters. But to promote Did It Again, Kylie Minogue performed on the track on the National Lottery Live and MTV UK. It was later included in her 1998 concert tour, Intimate and Live Tour, and the song was subsequently included in Minogue's compilation albums Confide in Me, another phenomenal song, Ultimate Kylie in 2004, and Confide in Me, The Irresistible Kylie 2007, and Step Back in Time, the definitive collection. So she never threw away the songs. She knew what made her career move forward. And it was like throwing a cat amongst the pigeons. And the pigeons were the media. This is the way I'm going. I want to prove to the world I'm not just stuck in a box. That's where you have put me. I want to prove I can do this. my way. Let's take a listen. I've got the lyrics in front of me, and as always, I'll give you my interpretation of the lyrics. It is about her self-consciousness and self-hatred, and I'll be aware of that when I'm doing the lyrics. So let's listen to it, and take it away, Kylie, and let's enjoy the edgier side of the English pop queen.
Clever girl, think you are, but you think too much. Shut down, turn around, don't look that way anymore. Clever girl, think you know, but you don't know much. Try to make a move, go to a different door. You know it's all in your head. You better put that business to bed. By your bare hands of the sign you met with the monster in your mind. You did it again. You did it again. Won't you listen to me when I'm telling you it's no good for you? Clever girl, think you're right, but it's right from wrong. Little Miss Genius, you make it hard on yourself. Clever girl, you've got it all, but you're all messed up. Time now, turn around, move on to something else. You know it's all in your head. You better put that business to bed. What you see, nobody sees it. Only brings you to your knees. You did it again. You did it again. Won't you listen to me when I'm telling you it's no good for you? You did it again. You did it again. Won't you listen to me when I'm telling you it's no good for you? You know it's all in your head. You better put that business to bed. By your bare hands up the sign you met with the monster in your mind. You did it again. You did it again. Won't you listen to me when I'm telling you it's no good for you? You did it again. You did it again. Won't you listen to me when I'm telling you it's no good for you?
You know, I got into that I nearly forgot to pause it at the end. Isn't it amazing? And you can tell the story already through that video. It won quite a few awards, and deservingly so at the time. But let's get into the lyrics. There's quite a few to get through, and I don't want to be talking unless I'm talking about the lyrics now. So we go back up. Verse 1. Clever girl, you think you are, but you think too much. Shut down, turn around, don't look that way anymore. Clever girl, you think you know, but you don't know much. Try to make a move. Go to a different door. So that's the point I was making at the beginning, at the time, the euphoria that surrounded this album. A lot of fans didn't like it. They wanted disco music. And it's funny how Kylie does tours, and those that have grown up with Kylie Minogue just want the disco music. Now, she's recently come out with a lot of disco tracks, and I think that was in homage to all the fans that have stood by her. But for me, the true Kylie was emerging when she did this. She was an actress in Neighbours, and she wore the school uniform, went on to marry her co-actor in the series called Jason Donovan, who played, I forget the name of his character in the series, and it was so watched by millions of people. Now from that, Stockhaden and Waterman wrote I Should Be So Lucky. It became a great hit. But I have to say, even when I look at that video, I saw a different Kylie, and I never had seen it through her previous albums until this sixth studio album hit us, and it hit me hard. It hit me in a very positive way because it said, this is the clever girl, and go to a different door, as the verse just said, and this is what she was doing. So let's carry on. You know it's all in your head. You better put that business to bed. By your fair hands of design, you met with the monster in your mind. So think about that in the chorus, the opening chorus with Kylie. This is a girl who hated, I think, and I'm going to be honest here, if it's anything like me, I was waiting for the bubble to burst and something else to come out. Other artists around the world, Madonna had did the holiday, blah, blah, blah songs, but suddenly she came out with Like a Prayer. And if you remember that, that was such a turning point in Madonna's career, as far as I'm concerned. And I've recently on my playlist put, this used to be my playground. She used to have a place that she, used to go to and just think things through and be calm and just wonder about life. She had her playground. The area where she started her career before the big global bubble burst and everybody wanted a piece of her. But Kylie in this album let that bubble burst. And as it says, by your fair hands of design, you met with the monster in your mind. So what was torturing Kylie, as far as I'm concerned, was Kylie was saying, I want rid of this pop image. But the media has had her like this innocent little flower that if you went, like those wild flowers that you get in the field and you blow and the petals go everywhere, like that she was so delicate. But Kylie wasn't, and I think she was sick of it up to here, and she went, God, they've labelled me already so early in my career. Because Kylie foresaw her career going on and on and on. She didn't want it to stop. She was a businesswoman. She knew she wanted all the little things taken off. And by her, as it says again, by your fair hands of design, she got rid of the monster in her mind. But by doing that, she was probably upsetting the record label, and she probably had to move on, which she did. She had to change her course, her ways. Everything was starting to, and people, she went through a dry period. I'm going to say this. Kylie around that time, after this album, went through a very dry period because people just couldn't accept she wasn't doing disco music, which was sickening. It was absolutely, for me, it was so frustrating listening to people go, oh, she doesn't do pop anymore, she's boring. How cynical and sad was that? So Kylie read those things, and that affected her. She's human. So it goes on. The chorus said, you did it again, you did it again. Won't you listen to me? So that's it, her inner voice, her other side of her. You see it in the video, touching her with the tears. Kylie must have cried many tears wanting to change, and then couldn't believe her career dried up just because she did change. Just because she took a chance. And instead of her fans going with her, they almost retaliated against her. And those that she has to appease, which she's done with the disco music, are sad people in my point of view. Because what we do is, if you love an artist, you grow with them. You support them. You don't go, oh, I miss the disco-y side. you know, I'm gay, but I'm not sad. I'm not pathetically sad that would come out with that. And here it said, once you listen to me, our inner thoughts fighting with itself, I'm telling you it's no good for you. So Kylie knew to stick with the pop wasn't good for her. Madonna had changed as well. You know, she went from Papa Don't Preach to, that was such an iconic song about when she became pregnant and the father lost his temper. The video was a powerful impact on what was happening to a lot of young women at the time. But Kylie was in the situation as well that people were following her, admiring her, and she wanted to change. So it continues, verse 2. Clever girl, think you're all right, but what's right from wrong? So there she is asking herself, is it right? Is it wrong? Is the media right? Am I wrong? Doubting herself, doubting herself, doubting herself. And then it continues, little Miss Genius, you make it hard on yourself. Clever girl, and this is a contradiction. You've got it all, but you're all messed up. Says Kylie, successful pop career, everything going really well, but she wanted to mature, as all artists do. You only have to look at Miley Cyrus. She didn't want to stay as the little girl in the TV series. She wanted to mature as a pop icon in her own right and be sexier, and all women do. There's that sexier side of them. But Kylie, it says, Kylie, you've got it all, but you're all messed up. Time now to turn around and move on to something else. Hence this album, hence these songs. But what really still upsets me was it was underrated because the fans didn't support her at the time. And that is a disgrace, because I so got this album, and one of the songs is Breathe. And I went, Kylie, I'm breathing with you, girl. You have so shown the other side of you. I was in love with it, but all those around me that were Kylie fans said, see, Kylie's a disco queen. She's not. How can somebody so talented not be? But it continues here anyway. You know it's all in your head. You better put that business to bed. So she was battling with inner depression. She suffered the mental effects of physical, everybody, and she was like, God, it's dried up. She knew when she launched this, she was taking a huge risk. I only have to look back in history at Blondie. And she came out with Atomic, and suddenly she changed from all the rocky pop songs, and she tried a song called Rapture that everybody hated, even though it was a huge dance underground hit in America on the dance floors. The critics and the fans hated it. And then when Blondie went from blonde, that everybody thought it was her natural blonde hair, and she went through a stage where it wasn't that she dyed her hair, she shocked the fans by allowing her hair to go back to its natural colour. It was some brownie colour, and people were just, Blondie's not Blondie. So you do take risks in your career, and this is what Kylie said in this pre-chorus too, it only brings you to your knees. It brings you to your knees because Kylie, I'd say, prayed hard and said, stop this rot. I mean, what's going on here? Because chorus, it says, you did it again, won't listen to me when I'm telling you it's no good for you. So she had that side going, go with your career, go with the papers, go with everybody else, do what you're told, just nod your head, be a little robotic person. But Kylie couldn't be that. She just couldn't. And I knew that from day one, and I was frustrated until she came out with this album. So therefore it goes, you know it's all in your head, you better put that business to bed. By your own fair hands of design, you met with the monster in your head. So she throttled that monster, she gripped it, and she decided, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go with this. I've got to do that. I've got to prove to myself as an artist I can take on the biggest challenge of my life. The press hailed her from a little innocent, blowing pebbles in the wind, kind of innocent, girly neighbours actress come singer with Stock Aitken and Waterman. Then when she developed her career to a different label and she went on to do more mature pop songs and sexier outfits and became more in tune with what she wanted to be. You only have to look in that how beautiful she is. The blonde one in that video was what the media just hyped her. Oh, she's sexy, she's a sex god, they're always doing that. They're always doing it. They always pick out a woman. They had Cyndi Lauper and Madonna battling at the time. That who's the biggest in America? And both artists respected each other, didn't want this, but the media was to blame for that supposed battle between the two pop queens in America. But then you had this pop queen who suddenly took over the airwaves, took over everything, called Kylie Minogue, and here she was doing it again. And her depression was, I just want to change from that now. I want to grow up and move. And then it continues, you did it again, wouldn't listen to me, I'm telling you it's no good for you. So she still, even though she released this album, she still had doubts, and this song proves it. She still knew it was a risk factor and said, I'm going to go with it. And it repeats itself. You won't listen to me. Her demons got her down. The doubts inside herself, because what had been built around her was a wall, pop princess with a pink bow. You stay in there, Kylie. You just saying, but Kylie was never that person. Think about it, everybody. She moved from Australia to England to launch her career. She might have had Neighbours and came on the back of a successful TV series, but to enter music and go from poppy to, hey, I'm maturing here, come on, accept it, was a challenge. And it was a challenge that, even in the comments to this video, they will all back me up. Oh, it was underrated. It was only underrated by the media. It was only underrated by the sad fans that followed her at the time, that just couldn't accept this woman had hips and an ass and a beautiful smile and eyes, and she wasn't all about the sex side. She was a woman. She had matured from that little girl, and she just wanted her career to go, and people to jump along with this change, be excited by it. But unfortunately she didn't get it, and the album was always underrated. But she did it again in 2022. She had the golden album. She proved she could do pop country. She's proved so many things in her career. She's now dropping singles from this album. I find that not courageous anymore. I find that the right thing to do, because Kylie is now so in vogue. She's got one of the most successful careers in pop history, that she can sit back and relaunch elements of her career to make it even more successful on top of the success that she's attained. And I think, Kylie, by dropping this, the title says it all about you. You did it again. You've got another hit in your hands. And for that reason, I smile. I feel youthful again. So there you go. That's my comments. Please like, subscribe to a Kylie fan, and I will look forward to all of you jumping on board. It's a growing channel every week and getting more and more subscribers, and more people are talking about my videos. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. If you don't know what they're talking about, then put a comment and a like and subscribe. Looking forward to your company in the next one. Kylie, thank you for re-releasing what I've always considered one of your best tracks ever, and this is the reason why. Take care.